The best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for being with us on the program. We appreciate you joining us on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let me see. Monday, no local games. Yesterday, both the Jazz and the Mammoth in action. The Jazz come up clutch by losing by 20.
Giving up 90.5. That was special.
It's historic, really. So it was 95, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was not just 90. It was 95.
95 and one half. I don't know what the NBA record is, but that feels, when it was 156, which is the final number that they landed on, you think to yourself, this is kind of all-star game territory, points-wise.
Very similar.
Or like an overtime or something, but there was no overtime.
Very little resistance.
And the Jazz score 137, and they still lose by 19.
The record for points and a half is 107, set by the Phoenix Suns on November 10th, 1990.
Could you imagine having 107 points in the first half of a game? Who'd they play? The Globetrotters or the Capitals? It was the guys, the Washington Capitals.
It was against the Denver Nuggets.
Oh, the Generals. That's what I mean. The Nuggets.
In the 1990, the Nuggets were the Generals, by the way.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. So there you go.
By the way, the Pelicans hold the record for most points in the second half with 95.
Wow.
But they did that in 2013.
Well, they tied their own record.
Yeah.
Look at that. There's a history to this. Well, but the more important side of things, when we're actually talking about now playoff races for teams that are here now, the Utah Mammoth down 3-1 at the end of the first period. I was wondering what was going on, but it ended up being an awesome back and forth. It was one of the better hockey games you could watch, and it just so happened that going to overtime and getting the slap shot winner from the captain, Clayton Keller, at the end of that game to give the Mammoth 2 points. And not only that, the first win as the team here in Utah over the Edmonton Oilers. It was massive. Great time to get it. This could be a team they face in the playoffs. Joining us on the program right now, he is Jay Stevens. So let's kick things off right here. Let's get going with the cut, top of the program.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, so by the way, this portion of the program brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJANwealth.com, for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Got dicey last night, but then the heavyweight champs were just trading blows, and the Mammoth come out on top. They look like Rocky at the end of that one, all beat up and bloody, but they still got the win. How huge was that one last night, Jay?
Man, it was stated that a statement was made last night, as our good friend Mike Fulton said on the radio, and it has to be a statement game. That's the hump that Utah just couldn't get over for the last 2 years. Edmonton was their kryptonite, and Edmonton was doing, Connor McDavid was doing Connor McDavid things. He walked right past the entire team to score a goal. I think a lot of Utah fans just kind of, when it was 3-1, I think a lot of Utah fans just kind of accepted that this was going to be a loss. And to see those guys fight back and play the way they played, I think it has to not only be a statement and confirmation for a lot of the fan base, but it's got to also be for the team itself to prove to themselves that they could do it, to prove that even when Connor McDavid was just willing through. You saw Mackenzie Weegar, how he matched up, and you saw a lot of guys match up against Connor McDavid last night that you're going to need during the playoffs. And it was just a huge statement, a huge win. And I have never heard the Delta Center louder than when Keller sniped that shelf, man, on that PP goal. It was unbelievable.
It was a special night for the Mammoth and the fans, and everything just gets – the stakes get higher, the moments get sweeter, the highs are higher, the lows are lower. But right now this team is riding on a high, Jay. Why is this team playing so well right now?
I think it's the changes that – Bear figured out with the lines, and getting Kerfoot back was huge for the team. The addition of Mackenzie Weegar and all the guys coming off of the Olympic break, everything's just seemed different in the locker room when you're talking to them. On the ice, Keller seems to be playing at another level. Cooley's playing at another level. there's just something different about the team. The lines are way better and they're way more balanced. And this will be tomorrow's going to be another good test because you want to talk about balanced lines. Nashville comes in and they have 4 really well balanced lines. Their leading scorers aren't just on line 1. You've got, their top scorers on line 1, their second leading scorers on line 2. So they're really well balanced too. And I think Bear kind of figured out some magic, and he messed around with it last night. He, dressed 7 defensemen instead of dressing the extra forward, which he's done all year and all last year. Last night was the first time that I can remember that he dressed an extra defenseman. So playing around with the lines, figuring out who's got the best chemistry, and you're really starting to see it. And that line with Carcone and the stuff that he's doing right now is just it's pretty crazy to see. Like all those players were there, but to put Peterka with Carcone and then put Kerfoot in the middle, it's just driving other teams nuts. They don't know how to handle it. They try to put their checkers out against that fourth line, and that fourth line is just built with speed, and they kind of refuse to get hit.
Jay, we talked about the Preds for a little bit here, and obviously that's a team that is, just behind the Mammoth in the standings. Them and the Kings, you look at and you kind of go, those guys might put something together, try to run these dudes down, so the Mammoths just have to keep winning. At the very least, probably win. I think they have to win 3 out of the last 4 to kind of guarantee they're going to get that wild card 1 spot. But you have the Predators who are playing really good hockey right now. They're playing tough. What is it about the Preds that maybe should make you nervous if you're a fan watching this one as they come into the Delta Center?
It's their goaltending. First off, their goaltending is some of the best in the league. They've got 2 goalies that are just lights out every night. UC Saros is their starter. He's been phenomenal for years. And it starts there. And then they've got big names like Stamkos and Marchessault and guys that have done it and they've won Stanley Cups and they know what they're doing. And they're, like I was saying, they're so balanced. I was just looking at their lines. You look at line 1 with Stamkos, O'Reilly, and Evangelista. And O'Reilly's another guy that's been around for a long time. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a wealth of knowledge, and he just is a punishing player to play against. And then you got line 2 with their leading scorer, Philip Forsberg's on their second line. That's just crazy that you have that much depth. And this is the team that went out before last season and spent all this money to bring in these big names and just kind of figured they'd go to go right to the Stanley Cup championship probably. And it just didn't work out. But something clicked for these guys right after the Olympic break as well. And they've been going on this streak just like the Mammoth. So you've got 2 teams in similar situations. One team's got a lot of guys that should have been better last year. And then Utah is a team that's, we know they're just getting better and better. So that's the thing you got to be worried about. When it comes right down to it, they match up pretty well, but you got to give the advantage on goaltending to, and I hate to say it, but you got to give the goaltending advantage to Nashville, which either 1 or 2, whichever one they go with tomorrow.
It's going to be a fun game to watch because of what's at stake for both teams, and both are going to bring their best. There's no question about that. Utah should hold on to this number 1 wild card spot. The analytics tell us it's almost in the 90. It's like 95% that they do. Assuming they do, which of those 3 Pacific Division teams would you rather play in a first-round playoff series? Oilers, Knights, or Ducks?
Oh, man. When you look at those teams and what they've done, I think Utah matches up better against the Ducks. But then with that comes the Ducks are just figuring themselves out as well. They're a younger team. They've had some inconsistent goaltenders or, some goaltender issues as well. So I think I'd rather go up against Anaheim than the teams that are proven. Like Edmonton is scary, and they're going to get Draisaitl back. Like all expectation is that he's going to be ready for game 1 of the playoffs. So I would say Edmonton is scary, and you want to stay away from them. Vegas has a pretty good history of being good in the playoffs. The weird thing about Vegas is they struggle to score goals. And they shouldn't be struggling. They've got a lot of money spent on goal scorers, and they struggle to score goals lately. But with the coaching change, you've seen them get a little bit better. So if I'm going to pick somebody, I'm going to pick the Ducks. And that's who Utah's had a better season against as well.
What is it that Utah's done in the last, a couple of weeks? Because there have been some kind of gross-looking losses, but they've had these kind of signature wins that they've had along the way, too, and they're scoring a lot of goals in that same time period. So that feels good if you're watching this team. They're scoring goals, and they're able to kind of just go blow for blow with whomever's in front of them. What are the things that they're going to carry over into the playoffs that, even though this team hasn't been to the playoffs, I think the vast majority of them at all, what things are they learning right now that they're going to be able to take into that first and maybe even second round of the playoffs?
Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of the 6 and 7 goals that you've been seeing from them in the last 4 games once playoffs start. Playoffs, it's all about like blocking guys out of the middle of the ice and just making every space hard to get. Guys are on you immediately when you get the puck. And I think as these games have gotten more important, and especially with what we saw last night from Utah, they're learning to find space. They're learning that extra pass isn't going to be there. The same thing they've been being preached at all season is to shoot more. Like Barrett has been teaching, Coach Andre Torini has been telling them to shoot. And you can hear him scream at practice, and he'll stop a drill when the guy makes the extra pass and tell him to shoot more. As playoffs start, you're going to see that they're going to have to take advantage of those shots. It's going to have to be the one pass shot. And that's what they're learning right now, is that you're going to have to shoot. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be as fast. You're not going to find any room or any space anywhere on the ice. Guys are going to be all over you, and you're going to have to use that speed to find whatever room you can find and get that shot off immediately, and then just try to create chaos in front. That's what playoffs are. And then they're also learning that you got to score on the power play, and you got to stop taking penalties. Those are the keys, and you're seeing them really kind of learn those lessons, and they've taken less penalties. That we had a lot of games that were 5 penalties.
Uh-oh. All right, got to pay that internet bill. You guys, let's fire it up.
Oops.
We'll get
that was my responsibility this month.
We'll get Jay Stevens back.
I'll let you down. I'm sorry.
Here. I don't know how quickly we get back on the
I'll give you my credit card. We'll hurry and get that done.
Well, one of the things that I'll go off of what he was saying is that of all the things that you can you just have to know that the playoffs are just different.
Oh, yeah.
And knowing that the playoffs are just different in the NHL, like in that you have to, that everybody's playing a little bit harder. It sounds weird, right? It's like, oh, now we're going to play hard. It's not really that as much as it is just like the intensity. It's a finite amount of time you can be in the playoffs. If you're not playing well, you're gonzo, and so that energy gets transferred over into it again. I think we have Jay back. Jay, you all right, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
So,
all right.
It's fitting that Clayton Keller hit the game winner last night, because we received the news this morning that he's been nominated. He's the Utah Mammoth nomination for the NHL's Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy, and that trophy is awarded by the Professional Hockey Writers Association each year to the player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. What have you seen from Clayton Keller that checks all those boxes and makes him the player that should win the trophy for the entire league?
Yeah, with the passing of his father, it was similar. If you remember, Connor Ingram run it the first year that the Utah Hockey Club was here. And it's an award that's important to recognize these guys that, during the course of the season, there's a lot of personal things that go on, loss and mental issues. And it's just the NHL's way of saying, hey, we see what you've gone through. And to look at a guy like Clayton Keller, who, lost his father. His father was not just close with Clayton, but he was close with everybody on the team. He was one of those really present fathers. And it's just a tough loss for him. And he just took it with grace. And he said, my dad would want me to keep playing. And he just went, and his whole family wanted him to keep playing. And he went out, and instead of feeling sorry for himself, he just put the team on his back, and the team as well put him on their back. And they just went about winning and went about, going out in the community and not feeling sorry for himself. He just did everything he needed to do as a captain of the Utah Mammoth, basically took no time for himself and just buried himself in his work. And you're going to see a lot of the same stories, guys with, going through hard times. That's what this award's all about. So it's kind of tough when you hear the other stories to root for one guy over another.
Right.
Because it's pretty cool. These guys, it's a long season,
Yeah.
82 games is a lot. And if you have something like that happen and you don't take away time, who's to say what's right? To go and spend more time with your family, or is that really what your loved ones would have wanted? Is you to go on and represent? So It's a big award. I think Clayton's a perfect example of a he's just a great example for the NHL. That's the kind of person you want kids to look up to. He's always doing the right thing. He's always saying the right thing. He lives the right way, and he lives it like hockey's his religion, and he just proves it every night. And like I said, I would be fine with my kids or my grandkids looking up to Clayton Keller.
Yeah, the dude's won a gold medal, and he's got a chance to, lead them into the playoffs for the first time ever. It would be an incredible story.
My son actually asked me last night. He goes, "Do you think Clayton Keller's going to be back on Team USA next time the Olympics come around?" I go, "I bet he is, and I bet he's going to be one of the guys that, they're not wondering if he's going to make the team. You know what I mean? You might even see a couple of members of the Utah Mammoth on their national teams, even more so because they're just making such strides here. Jay, I wanted to ask you about when you look at a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're kind of like the Yankees of hockey, right? They still sell all the jerseys. They're still like the most popular team, maybe the Dodgers, something like that. Austin Matthews, the rumors are that he's not going to be long for there. What does a guy like that, when he gets onto the market, what does it do to the rest of the free agency market that's out there, or the trade possibilities that are out there for teams to be able to pick up a guy like that?
It's been really interesting, and it's crazy how often we're having this conversation. He has 2 years left on his deal. He wants to win a cup in Toronto. He wants to be the guy that brings the cup back to Toronto. He gets a bad rap just because, and we've seen some of the media. I don't even want to call them actual media. There's just internet trolls out there that create these stories. And you've seen it happen to other players where the team actually came out and addressed the story saying, hey, this is false. The media needs to stop this. But they never do that for Austin Matthews. The Toronto media has been ruthless on him. There's a lot of stuff that gets started and said about him that's never verified. So we don't know what he's like in the locker room, but a lot of people just assume he's not good in the locker room just because that's what the Toronto media says. And you've seen other stars leave the area. Mitch Marner left. And I can see if he goes on the market, he's going to be obviously the number one. He's not a free agent for 2 years, so he'll be the number one trade bait. But because of all the bad stuff the press has said about him, if he is a cancer in the locker room, if he is somebody that can't push your team to the next win, what are you going to ask for him? How are you going to even balance that out? Oh, I want like a proven first rounder and 2 more of your first round picks. Nobody's going to give that up for a guy that's got that kind of a reputation. So I think an American team would go for him, especially somebody that had something to do with coaching during the Olympics or during some of the international play that Austin's been a part of. I could see somebody that really knows him, knowing his value and what they're going to offer for him. Other than that, it's just one of those crazy. It's the same thing that kept Mitch Marner there for so long.
Right.
People thought he might be a bad apple, so they just didn't want to invest a lot of their depth in the draft, of their draft capital. They didn't want to invest a lot of it to get a guy like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if something like that really happens. But if you're the Maple Leafs, you got to do whatever you can to keep him. He is your captain. He is he's a premier player, top 10, top 5 in the NHL. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be crazy. I just can't see him actually being dealt for anything because I just don't see a lot of teams putting up a lot that Toronto would say is fair. And he's proven himself. He scores a ton of goals every year, and he's a big boy too. He throws his body around. He doesn't miss very many games. He's exactly the kind of guy you want on your team. So I don't see why Toronto would let him go.
If they put him on the market, and they might be rebuilding, I think there is a team close to here who has the resources and the draft capital to make a run at him. Could you see?
Yeah.
If that's a big if. If they could, and he was on the market, should they?
I just don't think his age and what he brings fits into the Mammoths' big picture. Yes, Utah could get him. They do have draft capital. They do have prospects. But a lot of those prospects are what Utah's looking for in the next 3 to 5 years. I don't know what Austin Matthews is going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. That's when Utah thinks they're going to be winning cups. Not this year, not next year, but, in 3 years. So are you going to give up a Ginla or Denoye or even Cole Baudouin, who's just these are kids that are going to come on and probably light up the NHL for the next 10 to 15 years, where Austin Matthews probably has 3 to 5 years left. So, yeah, I know. I see all the articles that say because we used to be the Arizona Coyotes that it makes sense to bring him here, but
It's close
I don't
to
think
home.
that's enough of a link.
Right.
Yeah, and it is close to home. And he actually did train here in Park City before anybody knew who he was. He was training with some of the guys up in Park City every summer. There was like Brad May and Rob Blake. Bertuzzi was out here. There's somebody I'm forgetting, but Claude Lemieux. Claude Lemieux had a training thing he would do out here, and he had Austin Matthews as part of that in Park City. So there's that connection too that a lot of people don't know. But I just don't see it fitting in with Utah's big picture, and they've been so consistent on the way they're approaching the big picture that I can't see him locked, because Austin Matthews is going to want at least $10 million.
Right.
Like if you bring him over and whatever's left on his contract, that just ties up so much of your money, and then you lose prospects. So I can't see Utah making that move at all.
He is Jay Stevens. He hosts the Utah Puck Report. You can find it wherever fine podcasts are found. Jay, as always, we appreciate you coming on, man. And it's just a few more games left here. Everybody's still crossing their fingers. I know the numbers are on the Mammoth side, but we've seen weirder things happen in sports than some teams get hot and then others start to fall off. But we're hoping for the best, obviously. So we'll have you on during the playoffs. How about that?
That sounds phenomenal. It'll be heartbreaking if they don't make it. So I'm looking forward to being on the show during the playoffs.
There you go, Jay. We appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
heartbreaking is an understatement. At
He's
this
all,
point.
no, we're still going to have you on. Hey, how about the Preds and the Golden Knights? They're looking good.
Let's break down that series at the Mammoth. We're supposed to be playing in.
Oh, killer.
That would suck. Let's not do that.
All right, every week we have these hockey conversations, and they're all brought to you by the good folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. We will come back. We have more to go. You don't want to miss anything else around the corner with this show, so stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow.
This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
At the big red. Nice. I don't think we've had we haven't had the Doobie brothers. We haven't had Michael McDonald gracing these airwaves for quite some time. Did you have something wrong with him, Annapolis? Did you start to get? You got over it? You're the only Gen Zer, X, or Y-er? What are you?
Z?
Nah.
Maybe? I don't know.
Don't know either. Alpha? That's another one, right?
I'm an alpha.
I think our kids are in Gen Alpha.
Are you an alpha or a sigma?
Not the kind that goes to the Alpha Con over here and loses money to
No, I'm not that
pyramid
alpha.
scheme. No, not that guy. I'm just saying, I don't know what the letters all are, but Annapolis is the only Gen Zer that we know that is like, hey, hit me with that, hit me with some more of that Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, I think
like that.
TikTok's bringing back some of the yacht rock stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Kids like the
Still love it.
yacht rock on the TikTok.
Wow. Grab that drop. Yeah, rock on the TikTok. You been planning that all day? What's going on here?
This Christopher Cross stuff.
I love it. I do love it. Hey, you know what else I love? Some spring football. The Utes are, of course, still going up on the hill, getting ready for, well, there's a couple things going on. You have all the things that changed over, not the least of which is your head coach. And the good news is I think that people from a brand perspective with Utah are giving them, like, if a historic coach leaves and then the guy who comes in after is kind of like, don't know, they take an immediate hit. People just go, yeah, they're not going to be as good.
Right.
And I don't know if they're going to be as good for a while. I think Utah has avoided that. People are like, look, this thing's been so much in the making that the wins and losses projectors, the where are you going to fish in the Big 12 projectors, all those things, I think still give Utah a lot of a bump because of what I think football has been established as at the University of Utah. Good news for Morgan Scalley. And I think it's not. I don't think it doesn't land flat either. I don't think it's fake. I think Morgan Scalley and his guys are going to win 9 games this year at least. If they do that, they'll be right in that conversation again where they were last year of being in the hunt for a Big 12 title.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a crack at Texas Tech. Funny thing is neither Utah nor BYU gets a crack at Texas Tech unless they get to the Big 12 championship next year, assuming that Texas Tech gets there as well. But they also don't play Utah or BYU, so we feel like they're going to get there.
Their schedule is
Cake.
weak.
Iowa State looks funny now on people's schedules. It's like, oh, geez, look at that cupcake. They lost 3/4 of their team.
Can you name their coach?
Yeah, Mike Vander Snoot.
He's from the Netherlands?
Great family. Yeah. The Vandersnoots? Yeah, for sure.
Vandersnoot.
Who is it?
Is there a coach in the country?
I don't know. Yeah, he coaches for the Iowa State Cyclones.
Jimmy Rogers.
Yeah.
Who they hired from Washington State.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, good luck to you.
I think it's going to be tough going.
I do too. Hey, join Scotty and friends on Friday. Going to be out at Tim Daly Mazda in Sandy, 10785 South Automall Drive. You can join Scotty G and friends, noon to 3 at Tim Daly Mazda in Sandy. Here's Coach Morgan Scally. Another great day in the books. I don't think there's a bad day for Morgan Scally, but here's what he said about the latest from up on the hill, and spring football practice. Let's do it.
On about being situationally intelligent, how an offense is or a defense is gonna change based on the situation. Not quite good enough in the 2-minute situation right now. Really on both sides of the ball, big plays over the top. Dropping the football, not as efficient as we need to be. So we got to clean that stuff up. And now it's you're not really installing much. It's cleaning things up. I love the progress that's being made, but we're not there yet. And good thing is we don't play for a little bit, so we're still cleaning that stuff up. Love the progress of Creed's a guy I got to shout out, because that's a guy that has made a ton of progress. He's leading by example, outside of celebrating the wrong way on the touchdown. But anyway, really proud of that kid, and but good practice overall.
How's the health of the team overall so far?
Yeah, good health. Like I said, our strength staff's done a heck of a job. I feel like we're practicing the right way, and so that's a product of your training, in my opinion. And the good thing is that I think the percentage of live reps that we've had in relationship to our team crossover is the highest it's ever been. So you would think, okay, you're doing a whole lot more tackling, there should be more injuries, but no. In my opinion, you get injured when you're not doing things the right, training the right way, eating the right way, sleeping the right way. So it's credit to the team and our strength staff and nutrition staff, everyone involved in making sure guys are training the right way.
What's the separation look like with your first line and second line in terms of the offensive line?
I would say no separation. Right, everyone is competing. Everyone's competing, and everyone needs to know that they don't have the starting spot. It's no starting spots until the week before we play. People pay attention to depth charts. I've never thought a depth chart doesn't mean anything until the week of the game. That's when a depth chart means something. So until then, everyone just own your 20 square feet, keep improving, find out what your deficiencies are, and work your butt off to get better at them.
Can you speak to Nate Johnson and his kind of...
Oh, that's another guy. That's another guy that's fully bought into being a wide receiver, that's making play after play. Was really inconsistent last year in terms of catching the ball, in terms of doing the things that I think he was asked to do in terms of finishing routes and being a hand catcher, all that stuff. He has fully bought in. Bump has done a heck of a job with him. And to Nate's credit, what a great mindset he's come into this offseason with, and he's seeing the benefits of it.
A couple weeks ago, you said you needed to see more from your corners. How have they developed over the last week and a half?
I'm actually pretty pleased. I look at, because we lost Smith, so you're looking at the nickel position, and Rock Caldwell and Nick Brown. That's a guy that's really stepped up. He's got to have a heck of a summer though, because he's just a little bit too light. But speed-wise, really good. And Caldwell, smart, heady football player. His length is an issue, and he's gotten faster. So I really like the nickel position. Eli Reed on the outside, Scooby leading, Bobo Chenault. So we've definitely got the guys there, and Sharif's doing a great job coaching them up. So, yeah, I know I mentioned that early on, and the progress has been great.
Bird Quickland as someone who, maybe could have gone and started elsewhere. What does it say about him that he came back to Utah?
That he loves it here, that he loves the culture, that he sees himself as being able to succeed here. He's a competitor, and for guys that love to compete and you look at this place, why would you want to leave? You've got a fan base that loves the players. You got fans that show up every single home game. We're a winning program, and he's sitting there in a sweet spot right now. So, absolutely love Bird and his attitude, and I think you all have seen the progress in the time that you've been out here, right? It's pretty awesome.
You guys have expanded your recruiting into the South a little bit, and when I asked Sharif a couple weeks ago just about some of the negative recruiting stereotypes that you guys have to battle, you've seen it as the defensive coordinator. I'm curious, as the head coach, how do you answer some of the questions just about the state of Utah and just what it is to recruits?
I let the visits speak for themselves. And I've recruited Houston my entire career, and I maybe can count on one hand the amount of times I've figured I've had to face negative stereotypes. I think that's more of a myth than anything. I think when people visit and you recruit them enough and you establish these relationships, they see what we're all about, and more importantly, they feel what we're all about. I tell recruits and their families, don't pay attention to what you see. Everyone's going to have great facilities. Everyone's going to have great support. Pay attention to how you feel, and that's culture.
There you go. Morgan Scally. I don't think there's a question that he would not be prepared for, ever usually, but certainly right now, he's on top of it, man. And he knows every position group. He knows every person in there. I don't think you're going to meet somebody who's going to know his dudes better than Morgan Scally does right now.
How about Nate Johnson as a receiver?
Love it. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's a guy who was on our show 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago he was on. He
was on every week with us, and he was a quarterback for the Utes. Was put in to start one game, pulled in another. It was a rough go, and then he transferred to Vanderbilt and then transferred back to Utah. Last year, did a couple role things. He had a handful of stats here and there. I love that his name was... All right, you shut your mouth. How dare you? Oh, look, Kyle Whittingham has a thing. If you don't take care of the football... So I think that's a good thing, because Morgan Scally goes, look, anytime Nate Johnson's on the field, he's one of the fastest guys out there, if not the...
You have a guy on your roster with speed, athleticism, and experience. Figure it out. Find a way to get him out there if they're humble enough to accept the role you offer them.
Yeah.
And he has reached that point where he is that humble. How great of a story would it be if he goes out there and kills it at receiver, ends up in the NFL as a receiver? That would be
I'd love to see Nate do well.
Perfect ending to Nate's story.
I would love to see Nate do well. And look, if you can add another arrow in that quiver, then
he's got NFL speed and athleticism.
Absolutely. Okay. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We have a best and worst next. Stay here. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
If you already have a donor-advised fund, you know the drill. Minimum grants, management fees, clunky interfaces that make you feel like you're filing paperwork instead of doing good. GoFundMe Giving Funds is built differently. Zero AUM fees, no minimum grant requirements, contribute cash, appreciated stock, or ETFs. Get the immediate tax deduction receipt, avoid capital gains, and grant on your own timeline. No one's telling you when or how much. Your fund is invested and growing until you're ready to give. And when you are, you can grant to your favorite nonprofits. Already have a donor-advised fund? Transfer it over. We'll cover the Daft Pay transfer fees. And here's what's unique. GoFundMe Giving Funds lets you grant directly to GoFundMe.org, getting cash to people in crisis fast. Backed by the #1 giving platform, investments held securely through Vanguard. Start your giving fund today at GoFundMe.com/giving. That's GoFundMe.com/giving. GoFundMe.com/giving. Tax benefits depend on individual circumstances. Consult your tax advisor.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Having a lot of the more important conversations happen off of the air.
Yes.
There was a commercial that played, I think, in our last break when it was talking about Wang Chung coming to Salt Lake City.
One of the greatest bands of all time.
And you and I had the same question of, because their song, "Everybody Have Fun Tonight, Everybody Wang Chung Tonight," and you and I both had the same question. What is the action of Wang? What does it mean to Wang Chung? Can you tell me?
Yeah, I have.
Don't go to Urban Dictionary, too.
No,
I'm not going to put up with that.
No. I used AI instead. So let's see what comes up.
What do we have?
To Wang Chung tonight is a 1980s pop culture phrase meaning to party, dance, have fun, or let loose. It's derived from the 1987 hit song "Everybody Have Fun Tonight" by the British band Wang Chung.
Coming to the Maverick Center.
Yeah, it's essentially
a real band.
Shorthand
Annapolis. It's a real band. We're not.
Look it up.
Come on,
Annapolis. For all of you younger than 40.
He put his hands over his eyes like, I can't believe these guys.
I think he's just embarrassed by us talking.
I know, but
which is not a good sign for the show. Because that's kind of how this works.
It makes it sound like a. Look, we're not being like a racist grandpa at Thanksgiving. Okay? It's an actual name of a band.
So
I just wanted to know, I do love that they're like, well, it's an action that means to have fun. I'm like, it actually says have fun right before that. So
right,
no,
so
give me something else.
It's a little confusing. So I'm going to use it in a sentence.
Terrible.
We're just hanging out and Annapolis says, "I'm bored. What should I do?" I'd say, "Hey, let's go out there and Wang Chung tonight."
Oh, nice.
It means go have fun. Go
past,
rock out.
What's the past participle of Wang Chung?
Man, I Wang Chunged way too much last night.
Yeah, see? It's a verb.
There you go.
We were Wang Chunging.
We got really carried away when we were Wang Chunging last night.
Yeah, see? Look, I just love it because he doesn't know whether or not to hit the dump button or not. He's like, I'm confused. All right.
So another thing that's been floated out there,
okay,
is that the Wang represents a downward guitar strum and Chung an upward one.
Okay, yeah.
Wang Chung, Wang Chung, Wang Chung.
Right, got it.
There you
Did
go.
You get that drop? Hey,
it's an act of playing music.
I got it. No, I got it.
I'm just sitting here Wang Chunging.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about
I love it. Yeah, you made it.
One of us is Wang Chunging and the other one is slapping the biss.
I know. You know what's great about that is you gave us the gerund form too. Good job.
There you go.
Put an ing on it. All right, best and worst. Well, the worst is absolutely this conversation we just had. Yeah, Annapolis. He agrees.
That's the worst we've ever done on the show. It might cost people their job.
Joe Adele, that glove that he caught all of the former Bee, by the way.
That's right.
Former Salt Lake Bees.
That's right.
Superstar Joe Adele. The Hall of Fame will now house his the historic glove where he robbed 3 home runs. So there you go. I threw this one in there too. The Masters has now officially banned all cell phones. It used to be like the patrons were not allowed to carry them around. Not even media members now can take them around. And the players are loving it. And even the other patrons. I hate saying the word patron. It's fans. And please, when you say patrons, it's patrons.
Everything at the Masters has to be condescending, so they have to call you a patron.
It's a patron.
Just a reminder that you're a patron.
They say it's awesome. So phone-free Masters for everybody. And then the worst is LeBron finally says it. He throws a diss at Memphis throws a diss at Milwaukee, says those are the cities he doesn't like to play in. He didn't
Yeah.
say Salt Lake.
Hey,
You're telling me there's a chance.
We've moved up the list.
Come on.
I know LeBron likes the views here. He shared it on social media before. He doesn't hate Salt Lake City.
So there you go. That's the official word. LeBron doesn't like Memphis, doesn't like Milwaukee. I think the people that play on Memphis' team don't like Memphis. People who play for Milwaukee don't like Milwaukee. So
Didn't he say that Memphis needs to move to Nashville? What did he say?
Is that what he said?
He hammered on Memphis earlier in the week.
Yeah, he doubled
people
down
in
on
Memphis got really upset. They're acting like they're from Utah.
How dare you? We have barbecue. I love it. I love how when somebody says something about Salt Lake, we start listing off things. Yeah, but have you heard of Cherry Hill? Go check it out. Oh, you want to go big time? How about Lagoon? It's got a new. It's
Who
got a new
needs
ride.
Disneyland?
It's got a new ride. All right. I think we did it for this hour. We'll come back. We have more around the corner. Don't miss any of it. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.